Good evening, I'm Paul McDermott, and this is Good News World. Coming up tonight, distraught friends of the 14-year-old Australian boy busted for marijuana in Bali say it's going to put a big hole in their schoolies week. The South Australian government greenlights the world's largest uranium mine. After all, think how much electricity we can save if everything glows in the dark. A new poll shows 57% of Americans no longer believe in the Afghanistan war, and 75% believe the troops should be sent to fight the Transformers instead. Julia Gillard turns back the boats by threatening refugees with a carbon tax. A man in California throws hot dogs at Tiger Woods to see if he can resist the buns. We commemorate Apple boss Steve Jobs by adding new innovations to the show and underpaying all our Chinese workers. In Libya, Colonel Gaddafi's whereabouts are still unknown. Experts believe the ranting crackpot may be hiding out in talkback radio. And with Christmas just over 2 months away, Australia is in trouble. There's a national Santa shortage. A national Santa shortage. That's right, people. A man who doesn't exist is becoming increasingly rare. Ho, 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 ho. Department stores are having so much trouble finding Santas, recruitment agencies are looking at hiring skinny people, young people, women, and even children. Unfortunately, one child who scored a job as Santa was badly injured when he attempted to sit on his own lap. Apparently the shortage is due to the fact that Santas, like pandas, don't breed well in captivity. This is serious. We're celebrating a Christian ritual based on a pagan ceremony with reindeer and a man dressed in his winter woolies in the height of summer. If Santa isn't fat, it won't make any sense. Then again, maybe Fat Santa is a throwback. Fat Santa belongs to a time when the rich were fat because they could afford to eat, and the poor were thin because they were fighting rats for scraps. Nowadays, the rich are thin because they can afford organic fungus and personal trainers, and the poor are fat because Macca's is the only consolation in their tormented lives, spent watching rich bastards taunting them with their taut little buns and their pert little abs and their wheatgrass enemas. Of course, children don't give a damn who plays Santa. As long as they get their presents, kids are quite happy for Santa to be a chain-smoking Maori kickboxer. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Happily, the government is now planning to boost Santa numbers with a new refugee policy, the Westfield solution. And that's the good news from your world. And now here's Sammy J and Randy with the entertainment news.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
94-year-old screen legend Zsa Zsa Gabor is rushed to hospital after being found unconscious at her mansion. Doctors say she may have had a stroke, but it's impossible to tell without her real face.
Mel Gibson rear-ends a female driver in Arizona. If only he'd been in a car at the time.
Speaking of cars, a woman is suing the makers of the new film Drive, claiming the trailer is misleading.
She said it promised a movie in the style of The Fast and the Furious, whereas Drive turned out to be actually quite good.
Angelina Jolie travels to Libya as a UN Goodwill ambassador. Apparently Brad Pitt accompanied her on the trip for some goodwill humping.
Kyle Sandilands continues to rant about his old rented mansion, claiming it had 13 toilets blocked up with poo.
That's what happens when you're that full of shit.
Johnny Knoxville has a baby. Most painful jackass stunt ever. I don't know what that particular orifice was.
I don't know what that was. That was like an...
Use your imagination.
In new TV special called Hope Against Hunger, Sesame Street will get a new family of starving Muppets. Mary-Kate and Ashley are said to be very excited about their new roles. Fans of the Gold Coast appearance by Cody Simpson describe Australia's answer to Justin Bieber as a disappointment.
Yeah. They were hoping Australia's answer to Justin Bieber would be an airstrike. And there are claims Michael Jackson planned to have dozens more children. Blanket Jackson was to be followed by Pillow Slip and Footstool Jackson.
He could have furnished the whole house with children.
Yep.
Chandelier Jackson.
Mahogany Davenport Jackson.
Fluted pedestal Jackson.
Federation Bookcase Jackson.
Victorian dumbwaiter Jackson.
Eames Replica Office Chair Jackson.
Replica?
Yeah, it's just plastic.
Ah, must be hereditary.
In London, Paul McCartney's neighbours complain about the noise levels from his late-night wedding party.
Apparently the stereo wasn't loud enough to drown out the sound of Heather Mills rattling the gate and screaming obscenities. Beyoncé is accused of stealing choreography from a Belgian dance troupe. She was apparently caught trying to leave the country with the stolen choreography in her booty.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that she stuffed the stolen dance moves into a condom and swallowed it to get through customs.
Well, I heard that she doesn't actually use condoms and that's why she's carrying Jay-Z's baby.
Or is she?
What?
Well, I heard they've hired a surrogate mother and Beyonce's wearing a fake baby bump.
Well, I spoke to the fetus and apparently it's wearing a fake Beyonce.
Yeah. Full points to Beyonce's fetus.
Yeah. All the unborn babies, all the unborn babies.
All the unborn babies, all the unborn babies. Now put your cord up.
If you didn't want me, then you should have put a franger on it. If you didn't want me, then you should have put a franger.
Hey, unstuck in the womb. Whoa, whoa, yeah. We're going to keep going. Unstuck in the womb, barely any room, coated in placenta. Whoa, sorry. And that's the entertainment news.
Huge stories happening all over the good news world this week, so we cross now to our team of global correspondents. First up, Mikey Robbins in Libya.
Rebels have captured another of Gaddafi's relatives for a total of 450 sons, 94 sons-in-law and 2,000 Kiwi cousins who turned up as backpackers and haven't left the spare room in 5 years.
Cal Wilson at the Euro Summit.
It's not looking good, Paul. The Italian economy just took a dive, then rolled round on the floor clutching its shins.
Tom Gleeson in Moscow.
Prime Minister Vladimir Putin has offered a solution to the global economic crisis. He's going to strip down to his jocks and wrestle a moose.
Claire Hooper with good news for the Australian teenager on drugs charges in Bali.
He's coming home, Paul, just as soon as they can find a big enough boogie board bag.
Mikey Robbins on negotiations with disgruntled Qantas workers.
A flight attendant has agreed to help me join the Mile High Club for $50. And he's cute.
Cal Wilson in Detroit at the trial of the alleged underpants bomber.
The court has heard that the man's underpants backfired, and instead of an explosion, this created a fireball. 2 fireballs.
Ooh. Finance correspondent Tom Gleeson in Sydney.
The ANZ Bank has frozen the salaries of all its top executives. Not only that, they're no longer allowed to have nude money fights after hours.
Claire Hooper in Switzerland, where scientists have created a wormhole to a parallel universe.
Sadly, it's only big enough for a worm to get through. They've applied for a grant to create a giant person hole, but that just sounds rude.
Mikey Robbins in Siberia.
A team of scientists claim they've captured a live yeti. The creature is said to be quite small, covered in pubic hair, and has a beautiful singing voice. It answers to the name Paul.
Get off, fella! Cal Wilson on Iran's failed attempt to put a monkey into space.
Unfortunately, the monkey landed in nearby Pakistan, who took it as a declaration of war and retaliated by bombarding Tehran with intercontinental ballistic baboons.
Tom Gleeson in Canberra.
Prime Minister Gillard is moving out of the lodge while the building is renovated. In the meantime, she'll be staying at a mate's place, if she can find one. Redhead, no mates.
Claire Hooper in Libya with the Dyslexic Liberation Front.
They've just caught Gandalf.
Lots more ahead on Good News World, including our review and critique of the pictures of the week. Charles is saying, then you squeeze them like this and it makes a farting noise. And then I cut off the dragon's head. A week later it grew back, so I married her. Come back. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip are set to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Perth, in what many believe will be their final Australian visit. Joining me now, please be upstanding, for Her Majesty and the Royal Consul. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. Oh, dear God. Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, welcome to Australia.
Hello.
Hello.
Dear God, those three little words that freeze the guts.
Charles and Camilla.
No, welcome to Australia. Look, the old bastard's turned 90. Let's give him a real treat. Let's show him Perth by night. Scones, black fellas, chucking billabongs, 60 glorious years, and it's bugger me. Look at the ever-changing Brisbane skyline. Oh, it's Manchester with bloody flies, if you ask me.
Yes, thank you, Philip.
Australian cities are just like the Chinese. They all look the same.
Oi! Shut your gob!
Hot toddy and hot toddy, that's what I want.
Your Majesty.
Hello.
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 Where are you?
Hello.
Hello. Can you see me? Hello?
Hello.
Yes? Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Your Majesty, will the monarchy survive?
Of course. We are the very model of a modern monarchy.
Yes.
Charles has married his mistress. Philip never did that. Did you, big boy?
I remember a girl from Bangkok who wore nothing under her frock. She'd giggle and flirt and lift up her skirt and give us a glimpse of her.
Cock!
Said that one too many times, obviously. Know the ending.
Oh, Al, that's our favourite.
Yes. We always say it before we go to bed.
Hello, Your Majesty.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Your Majesty. What's prompted this trip to Australia?
One and one's other are coming out for a spot of choggum.
Do you even know what choggum is?
Yes, I saw it on Twitter. It stands for chilled homies off getting munted.
It stands for Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting.
Oh, God, that sounds shit boring.
And one is so over-touring. The young ones throw themselves at him.
Oh, yes.
The young ones, the young things? What are you talking about?
Slattons and floozies. As young as 60.
Yes.
That's barely retirement age. Offering him crumpet.
Yeah, well, they promise crumpet, but it's usually a scone or a rock cake, and they can be jolly hard on one's todger.
Thanks, Phil. Moving on, what can royal fans expect on this tour?
Well, one won't be doing the hits.
The
No
hits?
hits.
What hits?
Bohemian Rhapsody. We are the champions.
Fat bottom girls.
Fat bottom girls.
That's the band queen. That's the band queen, you old idiot.
No, that's what we keep saying.
They don't listen.
They don't listen. Do you do crazy little thing called love? Do you do Radio Gaga? No, we don't.
No, but one does like their music.
Yes.